this time you're really leaving. I heard your suitcase say goodbye. Well, as my broken heart lies bleeding, you say true love, it's suicide. You say you've cried 1,000 rivers, and now
He's a Florida man, Lou. Is he, though? Is he? I guess technically he'll always be a Florida man. But right now he's an unemployed Florida man. Shout out to Dan Mullen if he's watching. I'm pretty sure that he is. Appreciate everybody tuning in Uncle Lou After Dark. The college football call-in show coming on early today because the college football playoff rankings get released again today at 7 p.m. They got a basketball game on now. There's about 3 minutes to go, so that means the game could be over in 5 minutes or it could be over in 20 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, as soon as they start to release the rankings, I'll update anyone who's unable to watch and let you know what they are. Before they do that, though, let Uncle Lou give you the real rankings because I know that's what you all really want to see. Here comes the real rankings. Here's the real rankings right now. Ole Miss at 10. This is the Uncle Lou top 10 for this week. I've got Ole Miss at 10. They beat the doo-doo out of who'd they play last week? Vandy. I believe it was Vandy, 31-17. Honestly, not a very impressive. Did they play Vandy? Is that right? I guess that is right. 31-17. That's not all that impressive of a win over Vandy. Let's just be honest. This week they play Mississippi State on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, the Egg Bowl, 7:30 at night, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. I'll be streaming Thursday night. I know that's Thanksgiving, but I'll start up a stream during the Egg Bowl, and we'll either watch the game or take phone calls. We'll see how it goes, depending on what you guys want to do. But I've got Ole Miss cracking into the top 10 this week at number 10, sitting on 2 losses, I believe. Is it 2 or 3? Anyway, I've got them at number 10. Number 9, I have Baylor. Shout out to Baylor, man. They beat Kansas State 20-10. Again, not all that impressive, but a win is a win. Baylor still with just the 2 losses. Yeah, Ole Miss does have 2 losses. Ole Miss is 9-2. Baylor also 9-2. Baylor beat Kansas State 20-10. They play Texas Tech this week, so they're likely going to win that game too, and finish at 10-2. So, what does Baylor need to happen? Well, Baylor needs Oklahoma State to beat Oklahoma. If Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma this weekend and Baylor beats Texas Tech, then Baylor is in the Big 12 title game against Oklahoma State. If Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, then we're going to get a rematch a week later. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State again for the Big 12 title. I've got Baylor at number 9. Speaking of Oklahoma, I've got them at number 8. They're 10-1. They beat Iowa State 28-21. Another struggle win. Not as bad of a struggle win as some of Oklahoma's other struggle wins. Kansas comes to mind and a few others, and they did get the win. They're still sitting on just the 1 loss. So it is still possible, in my opinion, for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State actually out of the Big 12 to win out and make the college football playoff, depending on what goes on ahead of them. But I've got Oklahoma at number 8. They play at Oklahoma State Saturday night. So that should be a good game. Oklahoma State hasn't beat Oklahoma, I think, in 6 years. 2015, I think, was the last time Oklahoma State won that game. Oklahoma State appears to be a better team right now, to me, than Oklahoma. But that doesn't mean Oklahoma State will win. You know what the overall series is between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State? There's 7 ties. 7? 7 ties? So forget the ties. Oklahoma is 90-18. Might be the most lopsided in-state rivalry that exists in all of college football. 90-18. We'll see what happens this weekend. Bedlam game, Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. But I've got Oklahoma at number 8. At number 7, I've got Rudy. Notre Dame comes in at number 7 this week. An impressive win, 55-0 over a Power 5 team. I mean, I know it's Georgia Tech and they're terrible. Well, maybe they're not terrible because they've won 3 games. And Ohio State fans keep telling me how good Nebraska is, and they've also won 3 games. So maybe Georgia Tech isn't that bad. I don't know. But Rudy beat the absolute soul and will to live out of them this past weekend, 55-0. Notre Dame plays on the road at Stanford this coming week. Some people think Notre Dame is still alive to get into the playoff. I find that hard to believe. I think any one-loss Big 12 champion would jump Notre Dame. Notre Dame is obviously not finishing ahead of Cincinnati unless Cincinnati loses. I don't think Notre Dame's getting in with a loss. You make a conscious decision not to play a 13th game and join a conference. You got to go 12-0 to get in. Not to mention you can't lose to the best team you play, and that's what you went ahead and did when you got beat by 2 scores at home by Cincinnati. But I've got Notre Dame at number 7. At number 6, I've got Oklahoma State. They beat Texas Tech this past weekend 23-0. A shutout. Oklahoma State's quietly been playing pretty good defense this year in the Big 12, and Mike Gundy always has at least a semi-capable offense. Oklahoma State has looked pretty good. I mentioned the other day on video, I get the feeling that not a lot of people have watched Oklahoma State play this season. If you still haven't seen them play, watch the Bedlam game this weekend, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and then make up your mind about them. They look like a pretty good team. I'm not saying they could win the national title, but I think if Oklahoma State goes 12-1 with a Big 12 title, they're likely going to get that 4 spot, maybe even the 3 spot, depending on what the committee thinks about Cincinnati in the final playoff ranking. But I've got Oklahoma State at number 6. Of course, they play Oklahoma this weekend. At number 5, I've got Michigan. Michigan still just with the 1 loss, and a loss is a loss, but it was kind of a fluke loss. Michigan is a better team than Michigan State. Michigan played better than Michigan State for the majority of that game, but they made a few crucial mistakes in the second half, primarily rotating quarterbacks in and out for no reason and getting some weird offensive play calling in the second half, too, when Michigan had a 16-point lead that they blew and ended up losing the game to Michigan State. But that's still their only loss. They're playing pretty good football. They won this past weekend at Maryland 59-18. This might be the best all-around team Jim Harbaugh has had at Michigan in his time there. I think early on he had some defenses that were a little bit better than Michigan's defense is now, but they always struggled on offense. They're not Ohio State offensively, but they've got a pretty good offense this year. The quarterback has played well. They play, of course, Ohio State this coming weekend. It's a home game for Michigan. A lot of pressure on Jim Harbaugh to win this game. If he gets blown out, will he get fired? I don't know. Will he go to the NFL? I don't know. Worst case scenario, Michigan is going to finish 10-2 and ranked in the top 10, even if they lose this weekend. So I don't know what the decision would be on Harbaugh, but this is one of the better chances Michigan has had to beat Ohio State. It's at home. Michigan has a really good team. Now, Ohio State is playing out of their minds right now, especially on offense, but it could be a pretty good game, big rivalry game. So we'll see how it goes. They play Ohio State this coming weekend. Top 4, I've got Alabama at number 4. Another struggle win for Alabama this weekend against an average team. If you want to run around, and here's what doesn't make any sense about Alabama. Alabama fan been telling me for 5 weeks that beating Arkansas 37-0 is not impressive. Georgia beat Arkansas 37-0. Alabama fan laughs and says that's not impressive. It's Arkansas. Well, you beat Arkansas 42-35, a 1-score game, and you had to survive an onside kick at the end of the game just to win by those 7 points. Bryce Young broke every Alabama passing record known to man, yards, touchdowns, and everything else, and he needed every single one of those yards and every single one of those touchdowns to beat something called Arkansas at home. So congratulations. You're now ranked number 4 in the UNCLELOU poll, but don't worry. You're not going to stay there long. You're going to get knocked silly here in a couple of weeks in the SEC title game. But I've got Bama at 4. Of course, the Iron Bowl coming up this weekend on the road at Auburn. Alabama takes on Auburn coming up this weekend. Not nearly as interesting of a game as it looked like it might have been 3 weeks ago when Auburn still had a chance to win the West and looked like a decent team. They've fallen off the rails the last few weeks, losing to South Carolina this past weekend. Bo Nix out for the season. Backup TJ Finley playing. I don't give Auburn much of a chance in that game. But I've got Bama at 4. At 3, I've got Ohio State. Ohio State probably looks like the second best team right now. However, I've got them at number 3 because they have a loss. Cincinnati does not. And in my opinion, Cincinnati has a better win than any win Ohio State has. Cincinnati's win over Notre Dame, in my opinion, a better win than any win that Ohio State has. So you can cry about it if you want. It doesn't matter. Whether Cincinnati's 2 or 3 or Ohio State's 2 or 3, that means they would play each other. So it doesn't matter who's 2 and who's 3. But I've got Ohio State 3, even though I do think they're the second best team. I don't do my rankings based on who I think's the best or who I think could beat who. It's a combination of deserved and earned. And right now, I think Ohio State deserves a number 3 ranking. They absolutely destroyed Michigan State this past weekend, 56-7. It was 49-0 at one point. Just just an absolute beatdown of Michigan State. Michigan State coming into that game had the worst ranked pass defense in America, 130 out of 130, and they showed up in that game and proved why they're the worst pass defense in America. Ohio State absolutely lit them up. Of course, this week, Ohio State plays on the road at Michigan. Number 2, I've got Cincinnati. They blew somebody out, SMU, 48-14. SMU's not a great team, but they're not terrible either. They're probably the 3rd best team in that conference that Cincinnati is in. Cincinnati took them to the woodshed this weekend after Cincinnati had really sort of coasted for the last 3 or 4 weeks, kind of playing down to their competition, some close struggle wins. Not the case this week against SMU. Cincinnati wins big, 48-14. They play this week at East Carolina. That should be an easy win for Cincinnati. And then they have the conference championship game against Houston, which doesn't matter what we think about Houston. Right now, the playoff committee has Houston ranked at 24. They won this past weekend, so Houston's going to be moving up, possibly even into the top 20. So Cincinnati will have a conference championship game with a team that the committee considers a top 20 team. If Cincinnati goes out and whips them, Cincinnati's likely getting into the playoffs based on the other things that have happened. But I've got Cincinnati at number 2. And, of course, I have Georgia at number 1. They beat Charleston Southern 56-7. They were up 49-0 at halftime, coasted in the second half, won 56-7. They play on the road this week at Georgia Tech, who took a paddling last week, 55-0 to Notre Dame. So there you go. That's the UNCLELOU top 10. Number 10, Ole Miss. Number 9, Baylor. Number 8, Oklahoma. Number 7, Notre Dame. Number 6, Oklahoma State. Number 5, Michigan. Number 4, Alabama. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 2, Cincinnati. And number 1, Georgia. All right, the playoff show has just started over on ESPN. So I will let you know as they announce all the teams, and then we'll turn the phones on and we will take phone calls. We can talk about the playoff rankings. We can talk about last week's games. We can talk about this week's games. We can talk about conference championship games, playoff scenarios, whatever it is you want to talk about. As soon as they announce the rankings, I'll flip the phones on and we'll get started. Does that sound fair to you guys? Okay, good, great. Appreciate that. Want to shout out to everybody for tuning in tonight. I appreciate that. Super Chat is located right below the comment section. If you're looking for a way to support the channel or the show, that's a great way to do it. Hit the Super Chat. You can leave a comment, a question. You can attempt to troll me, whatever it is you want to do. I'll be happy to read it, whatever it is. There's also a PayPal link for those of you that have PayPal and don't mind using it. I would appreciate it. YouTube steals half your Super Chat before they send it to the YouTuber. PayPal does not. That's why you see everybody posting the PayPal link. So I just put the PayPal link in the comment section. It's also in the description of the video, and the mods will post it from time to time. You can attach a note to your PayPal as well. And just like with the Super Chat, I'll be obliged to read it. All right, shout out to everybody for tuning in. Let's see, roll call. Who's here? Jerome Pruitt. Piffy is here. Munkin's Headset. Caleb. John Doe. JW13120. Savage Dog. Jay Shipes. The hell does that say? Crimson, no, Cinnamon. What in the hell, son? Somebody, are you a stripper? You better be a stripper. If you've got it, if your YouTube name is Cinnamon, you better be a stripper. If not, I don't know what. There might be something seriously wrong with you. Corey Williams, Nate the Great, Paul Feinbaum is here. That's no surprise. Johnny C, Bad Bass, Keith Big Dog, Chiquita, Matt Dummett, William Fowler. Debo Ray, Dalton Debo, Jacob McClure, Lambo, Rob, Josh Strickland, John McGraw, Darth Douchebag is here. Begging Megan, is that you? Good morning. You can't stay away, can you? Raj, yep, Raj. Raj is here. Dogs on Top, Gary Lewis, Jason Millsap, Chiquita, Ladarius Martin, Cy Morgan, John Erb, Dak Prescott, that's interesting. Ryan Rain, Bobby G, Brian Benninghoff, thank you. Neo Express is here. Undeniable Goat. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Playoff show has come on. They're wasting time with the talking rigmarole. They've been announcing like 25 through 7 and then announcing 1 through 6. I'm assuming that's the way they'll do it again. I'll update it along the bottom of the screen as it comes out. It looks like they might be about to start now. They got a few of the talking heads here giving you their opinion. on what they think should happen, I guess. What's their opinion? Opinion not really worth anything. Uncle Lou is a bigger clown than Dan Mullen. Well, you're not watching a Dan Mullen live stream right now, are you, Mark Hambrick? Nope. You're watching an Uncle Lou live stream. Keep up the good work, friend. The Taters are ranked. The Taters probably should be ranked. I get it. You know, that they're very disappointing this year. But what do they have? 2 losses, 3 losses? They should probably be ranked. All right, number 25, Arkansas. Number 24, Houston. Number 23, Clemson. Number 22, UTSA. And number 21, San Diego State. That's 25 through 21. Arkansas drops 4 spots after a close loss to Alabama. Clemson up into the poll at 23. Here's 20 through 16. NC State at 20. Utah at 9. They moved up 4. Wake Forest all the way down to 18. They drop 8 spots. Pitt moves up 1 to 17, and Iowa moves up 1 to 16. NC State, Utah, Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, and Iowa. That's your 20 through 16 teams there. Wake Forest with a huge drop after a loss to the Tater. Why is USC so bad? Which one, senior or junior? They're both bad. They're both bad. UTSA is the best team in Texas. Maybe. Them versus Texas A&M might be a good game. Or Baylor. Baylor might be the best team in Texas, actually. Yeah, probably Baylor. Baylor or Texas A&M, I guess. Probably Baylor. I can't wait to see where Wisconsin will be ranked going into the Big Ten championship. Well, Wisconsin's got to win this week to make the Big Ten championship, I believe. They play Minnesota, I think. All right, number 15, Texas A&M. Number 14, Wisconsin. Number 12, Michigan State. And number 11, Oregon. So A&M and Wisconsin each moved up 1 spot to 15 and 14. Michigan State drops 5 spots out of the top 10 down to number 12. Oregon drops 8 spots all the way down to 11. They're sitting at 9 and 2. All right, so we got the top 10 coming up now. They've been doing 10, 9, 8, and 7, and then doing 1 through 6. We'll see if they do that again this week. All right, come on, show us the top 10 now so we can open up these phones. Get the show started. War Memorial Stadium needs to be demolished. Is that the one in Fayetteville or the one in Little Rock? I don't know which one. I don't know which one that is. BYU is a glory hole. Well, they're a bicycle college. I know that. Number 10, Oklahoma. So they move back into the top 10 after falling out for a week. So number 10 is going to be Oklahoma. I'm updating my list here to put back up on the screen here in a second for people that might join a little late. So Oklahoma comes in at number 10. They move up 3 spots. They're sitting at 10-1. They play Oklahoma State this week on the road at Oklahoma State. Should be a good game. Ole Miss comes in at number 9. I had Ole Miss at 10. I had Oklahoma at 8 and Ole Miss at 10. Playoff committee's got Oklahoma at 10, Ole Miss at 9. Ole Miss and Oklahoma each moved up 3 spots this week. Ole Miss at 9-2, Oklahoma at 10-1. Number 8 will probably be Baylor, would be my guess. Yeah, they've got Baylor at 8. So the playoff committee top 10 so far, Oklahoma at 10, Ole Miss at 9, Baylor at 3. All 3 of those teams moved up 3 spots this week in the playoff committee's rankings. Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Baylor. Number 7, are they going to have Oklahoma State, Michigan, or Notre Dame at 7? It'll be one of those 3. Will it be Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, or Michigan? Who are they going to have at 7? I've got Notre Dame at 7. But they may have Oklahoma State or Michigan at 7. We'll have to wait and see here. They should put it up on the screen here any second. Oklahoma 10, Ole Miss 9, Baylor 8. Waiting on the number 7 team now. Oklahoma State. Playoff committee has Oklahoma State at number 7. I've got Oklahoma State at number 6. That means they must have Notre Dame at 6. They've probably got Notre Dame at 6 and Michigan at 5 would be my guess. They've got Oklahoma at 10, Ole Miss at 9, Baylor at 8, Oklahoma State at 7, and we'll have 1 through 6 coming up now. I'm sure Georgia will stay number 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Ohio State at 2. That was a very impressive performance by Ohio State this past weekend against Michigan State. So I won't be shocked if the playoff committee moves Ohio State all the way up to 2. I think they've had Bama at 2, I believe, for the last couple of weeks. The playoff committee has. I wouldn't be surprised if they bumped Bama down and moved Ohio State up, but we'll see. Waiting on them to show 1 through 6 now. Where did Oregon end up at? 12 or 13, something like that. Rewind the stream a few minutes. I read it out as they called it. All right, Georgia stays at number 1, 11-0. They play Georgia Tech this coming weekend in Atlanta. Playoff committee keeps Georgia at 1. So Ohio State, they have moved up to number 2. So time to delete Alabama here off the number 2 spot. Sorry, Gumps. Gumps are going to cry. I'm sure they'll have Alabama at 3. They'll probably have Alabama at 3, Cincinnati at 4. So the playoff committee's got Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2. The Gumps are in full meltdown mode. But we all knew that was coming. We all knew that was coming. Gumps cry about everything. Alabama at 3. So who y'all think is going to be 4? Would they put Cincinnati at 4? Group of 5 team has never been ranked in the top 4 before. Will they put Cincinnati in the top 4? We're about to find out. We're about to find out. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3. About to find out about 4, 5, and 6. My guess is it's going to be Cincinnati at 4. Every Alabama fan is beating the shit out of their wife right now about these rankings. All right, come on. Boy, they drag this on, don't they? Cincinnati at 4. First time ever a group of 5 team has made the top 4. So 5 and 6 left to go. Who do y'all think it's going to be? We've got 5 and 6 left to go. Who's left? Michigan and Oklahoma State, right? So who's going to be 5 and who's going to be 6? My guess, Michigan 5, Oklahoma State 6. That's my guess. Michigan 5, Oklahoma State 6 is my guess. Number 5, Michigan. Number 5 is Michigan. All right, so there you have it. That's your updated top 10. Oklahoma at 10, Ole Miss at 9, Baylor at 8. Well, now I done screwed it up. Hold on a second. Well, I'll turn the phone lines on. Give me a few minutes to turn the phone lines on, and then we'll start taking phone calls. How's that sound? Does that sound good? I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling it does. Nah. No. Already said no on that. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Cincinnati, and Michigan. That's your top 5. No on that. No on that. No on that. Oh, here we go. All right, let me get the phone lines turned on, and I'll be right back.
host.
Rising up, straight to the top. Have the guts, got the glory. What's the distance now? I'm not gonna stop. Just a man and his will to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor starts to spread in the night. And he's watching us now in the eye of the tiger. The eye of the tiger. Eye of the tiger. Eye of the tiger.
Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
That's a great idea. All right, the phone lines are open, 706-786-4481. 706-786-4481 is the number if you want to be a part of the show. We can talk about the college football rankings that just got released on ESPN. I have the updated top 10 playoff rankings scrolling across the bottom of the screen if anybody missed it. I hope I didn't screw that up. Anyone else typing it in? Maybe I did. If I did screw it up, I'll just say I did it on purpose to troll. That will be my plan. They got the guy on there now giving excuses about why they ranked this team there and that team that. And no one gives a shit what that guy says. He just talks in circles nonstop anyway. Nothing the playoff committee says makes any sense at all. It's not a conspiracy theory. They're just generally stupid, in my opinion. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, how's it going, Uncle Lou? This is Johnny C. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Decided to call in and take a break from the typer troll routine.
Yeah, I've been running my mouth. I can only type so fast, and I've just been running my mouth for the last 2 weeks. So I figured I'd call in.
Yeah, well,
But
it remains to be seen whether that was a good decision or not. I'll let you know in a few minutes.
Well, here's something. I talk stupid sometimes, but I can be realistic sometimes. But
Oh, okay.
I think I was calling to say I'm happy Alabama's going to play Georgia in 2 weeks. I think these next couple of weeks we're going to have a lot of fun. And I think Alabama might prevail.
I don't blame Alabama fans for thinking they can win the game. I mean, Alabama wins 95% of the games they've played in the last 12 years. But if you take Alabama out of those uniforms and just watch that team play all year, they do not look better than Georgia. It's the only reason anybody thinks Alabama's going to win that game is because they're Alabama. That's it. Doesn't have anything to do with the way they've played this year, because Georgia's been better every single week of the season. Georgia hasn't been up and down.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia hasn't taken weeks off. Georgia hasn't struggled multiple times against bad teams. Georgia can run the ball.
Been maybe week one closest game.
Yeah, I mean that was 3 months ago.
I think Georgia ruined Clemson. I think Clemson was going to have a good season. I think Georgia set them back.
Well, I think it was a terrible game plan by Georgia too, not knowing that Clemson was that bad. I think
Yeah.
everyone thought that game was going to be like a 17-14 type of game between two good teams. And also we have to remember that we didn't find out until after that game that JT Daniels was hurt. So maybe that's the reason all we did was throw 2-yard passes. I don't know. I'm not making excuses. That's not a good win. That was not a good win for Georgia. But they've had 11 good wins in a row since then.
Yeah. I think the only way Bama can win this game is don't know if defense A shows up and offense A shows up. But if offense B shows up and defense B shows up, or which one? Because it's different. One week they're good on defense, and then they're shitty on offense. And then one week it's vice versa. So last week was one of those days where they were great on offense. They couldn't miss a beat on offense, going bomb.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because usually Oklahoma's more like, hey, you know what I mean? You might score on us, but you're going to earn it. Bama was doing anything they wanted. They were running, they were passing, but they just couldn't. And it's just a terrible game plan by Pete Gold. I mean, I don't know what that guy thinks sometimes.
Well,
it drives me crazy.
Another way Bama could win this game is the same way they beat Georgia last year, and that's Stetson Bennett coming out in the second half or the first half or whatever and turning the ball over 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, if Georgia turns the ball over 3 times, they'll lose. That's for sure.
And they might still turn the ball over. Bama might turn the ball over a few times, so sometimes it equals out.
Good. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be a good game. Georgia will probably be favored. Georgia's favored by 4 right now. I don't think it's going to change that much after this weekend. I think everybody expects Alabama to handle Auburn, and everybody expects Georgia to handle Georgia Tech. So I don't expect the line to change that much on the Georgia-Bama game.
You would think that game would be an easy win.
Which
one?
The
way this team plays. You would think that Bama would have an easy time with Auburn, but the way
I think they will.
Team can drive.
Yeah,
I think that I think if Bo Nix was in there, I'd be like, oh my God, we can lose this game. But obviously he's hurt, and that's that for him. Yeah. And I don't know what that guy's deal is. I don't know if you heard what he said yesterday.
What did he say?
What the controversy? Well, he was saying, Bama always gets these benefit of the doubt all the time, and all these calls and this, that, and the other thing.
Well, they do, but still, Auburn has no room to talk because they've literally won about 4 games in the last 2 years only because of the referees.
Hey, remember Arkansas last year?
Right. Yeah, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. That was one of the worst officiating. That was almost as bad as when Arkansas scored a touchdown on Alabama this week, and the referees acted like they didn't see it. The guy didn't even get tackled. He ran in. That guy for Arkansas ran into the end zone, was standing 1 yard in the end zone. Alabama players didn't even tackle him. They knew it was a touchdown. 19 referees, not a single one of them does this. They had to review the damn thing. That was sad. That was
Imagine
pitiful.
If I thought they weren't gonna for a second because they were lining up like they weren't gonna.
That was pitiful.
Yeah.
And the sad and the worst part is Arkansas had scored a touchdown on the play before that, and they overturned it and said, nope, we're gonna give Arkansas the ball at the 1-inch line. So then Arkansas comes out, runs the ball into the end zone, doesn't even get tackled. The guy's literally standing a yard deep in the end zone, and all the referees are sitting there with the Ray Charles routine. It was sad.
Hey man, that's Bama's like the Patriots with Tom Brady, man.
I reckon.
When you're the top guys, man, you get it's like the Jordan rule. You get the calls.
You know what? There's some truth that I don't believe in the conspiracy theories. I'll tell you that now. I don't believe that the SEC is purposely fixing things in Alabama's favor. I don't believe that at all.
When you're an Arkansas fan and it's a real close game like that, and you feel like it's just not going, I would be frustrated too. But I don't think that. I doubt that they're like, all right, we got to make sure Bama wins this game.
No, yeah.
I don't think.
I don't buy that either. Hey, good luck. Good luck. It's going to be a fun 2 weeks, like you said, and plenty of time to talk that trash. Yeah, it's going to be a fun 2 weeks, no doubt about it. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
Doing great, though.
So, first and foremost, I just want to say I'm a big Georgia fan. I love Georgia, but this what I'm about to ask is just a hypothetical.
All right.
So, Ohio State obviously comes out, destroys, puts a whipping, takes away, Michigan State's pride and everything they stand for.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you said, Michigan State had, the worst pass defense and, this and this and that. And yes, I understand Michigan State's defense is not good, but Ohio State's offense Ohio State's offenses, it looked amazing. So
It's the best in the country.
I
Period.
saw your video.
Hands down. It's hands down. There's no argument or debate. I don't care what some stat somebody wants to show me where some other team is first in whatever category. I don't care. Right now, the Ohio State offense is the best offense in the country. They've got 3 wide receivers that might be better than any wide receiver anyone else has. And they've got a 1,500-yard running back and a Heisman winner at QB. C.J. Stroud's winning the Heisman.
Yeah.
I mean, so, yes, they have the best offense right now, period. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So if this did play out like you predicted and, you know, it was Ohio State, Georgia in the national championship game, who do you think would win that game? Like, truthfully, who do you think would win that game?
Well, you're not going to get me to say Ohio State. I mean, I think Georgia would win. I mean, but I think Ohio State would give Georgia the toughest test for sure. For sure.
Do you think Ohio State scores more than 21 on Georgia?
Yes. Georgia holds opponents to about 20 points below their average, generally. Some more than that. Like, we shut out Arkansas 37-0. But in general, Georgia's been holding opponents to about 20 points less than their average. Ohio State averages 47 points a game. Ohio State will score 27, 28, 30, something like that. Georgia's going to have to score in the 30s to win that game. In my,
do you
it could be
think
wrong. That's just my guess. I'm not saying, but I don't think. Now, and I also, I have estimated Georgia's defense almost every single week this year. When you go back and look at my score predictions every week, we have given up less points almost every single week than I predicted we would give up. First of all, I never predict a shutout because it's too hard to shut somebody out. Very few times this year, though, have I even predicted Georgia would hold an opponent to single digits, and we've done that a lot. But I could see Ohio State scoring 27, 28, 30, 31 points. I could definitely see that. I mean, it's an explosive offense. There's not just one thing you can key on. I think Darion Kendrick would do okay, but he can't cover 3 people. And Kelee Ringo, I like him. It's his first year playing. In my opinion, Kelee Ringo would get eaten alive by Ohio State. There's going to have to be a plan that involves helping Kelee Ringo in that game. He's fast and he's in good position a lot, but he hasn't learned to turn his head around. He lets receivers get behind him way too often. Go back and watch the Tennessee game. So there's plenty of other examples too. I don't think we're just going to come out and hold Ohio State to 7 points. I think anybody that thinks that might be living in dreamland.
Yeah, and my other question is, do you think that Ohio State's offense is, they look better than they actually are because of the lackluster Big Ten defenses? And do you think that Georgia's defense,
no, first of all, that's fake news.
in some way is?
First of all, that's fake news that there's no
What's
defense that there's no defense in the Big Ten. That's fake news. That's just not true. There's plenty of defense in the Big Ten. Who do you think has the number 1 ranked defense in America off the top of your head?
Georgia.
Wisconsin. In yards per game. Yeah. Georgia is number 1 in points allowed per game. Wisconsin's number 1 in yards allowed. Now, I think Georgia's defense is better than Wisconsin's, but the point is there's plenty of good defense in the Ohio State's not good because the Big Ten has terrible defense. Ohio State is good because they have a Heisman-winning QB, probably 3 first-round draft picks at wide receiver, and a future first-round draft pick at running back. The only reason he's not a draft pick now is because he's a true freshman, Travion Henderson. So, Ohio State's offense is good because it's good.
Do you have confidence in the secondary? Do you think that Georgia's going to have to come out and rush 6 every time? Just to put some pressure on Stroud?
I think they'll mix it up because we have to remember, as good as Stroud has played, he's still a first-year quarterback. There are things he hasn't seen. He hasn't played Wisconsin. Let's see what he does against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And he definitely hasn't played a defense like Georgia. So I think Georgia will mix it up. I think you'll see some 3- and 4-man fronts where Georgia drops back with 7 or 8 in coverage and plays zone. And I think you'll see some, I think you'll see some times where Georgia sends the heat. I think they'll mix it up with a young quarterback. likely to get confused a couple of times during the game, likely to see some things he's never seen. I don't think there's any one answer or another when it comes to C.J. Stroud. Now, with Bryce Young, yeah, you send pressure on him because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But Bryce Young's not going to play well in this game against Georgia, but we're talking about Ohio State here, not Alabama. So,
how much better do you think Ohio State's wide receiver core would have been if, what's his name? The dude who transferred from Ohio State would have stayed.
It wouldn't have been any better at all. The reason he transferred is because he was behind.
Jamison Williams, I think it is.
He was behind all those people. That's why he transferred. He was behind the other three.
Mm-hmm.
He was the fourth best receiver on that team. That's why he transferred. I'm not saying he's not any good. He's great. Look how good Alabama recruits, and he's the best wide receiver they have. What does that tell you? That's how good he is. You know what that tells you? That tells you how good those three wide receivers for Ohio State are. That's what that tells you.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got for you.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you calling in. And go Dogs. And
Yep.
You seem like a smart individual pulling for Georgia. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all, in the least or in the slightest. All right, got a couple of people who have been generous enough to hit the PayPal link, which I really appreciate y'all supporting the show. Who is this? James R., thank you for hitting the PayPal link, sir. He says, Anthony Richardson regarding Megan Mullen. Quote, she told me every morning at breakfast I'd be the starter. She promised. Well, guess who's starting this week for Florida? Anthony Richardson. That's right. Dan Mullen out. Running back coach in. Greg Knox, interim head coach. Anthony Richardson is your starter. The story is that Emory Jones got hurt in practice this week. That's the story. Just like the story the last 2 weeks was that Anthony Richardson hurt himself dancing in the hotel. No, Anthony Richardson got emotionally scarred because Dan Mullen started him against Georgia. I mean, we all know that's what happened. Hurt himself twerking in the hotel. Nobody believes that. Does anybody really believe that Anthony Richardson hurt himself twerking in the team hotel? No. He got the first start of his college career against Georgia. That's what happened to Anthony Richardson. It took him 3 weeks to mentally recuperate. That's what happened to Anthony Richardson. But he is starting this week against White Tanto. White Tanto. Who is this now? Thank you for hitting the super chat. Jeremy B. He says, will OSU stay hot and have a better showing in a college football playoff this year compared to last year, assuming they went out? You talking about Ohio State? Well, they had a pretty good showing. I mean, they won. They beat the bejesus out of Clemson in the first round, and then they lost to Alabama. But I mean, Alabama was clearly a better team last year than Ohio State, in my opinion, especially defensively. Alabama's wide receivers last year were a lot like Ohio State's this year, right? Waddle. You got to remember, because remember, Waddle played in that championship game. And then, of course, they had Devontae Smith, who was the Heisman winner. They had Mac Jones, who's so good he's starting in his first year in the NFL for the Patriots and looking pretty good. So I wouldn't necessarily describe Ohio State's performance in the playoffs last year as bad. They won against Clemson, and I believe they were an underdog in that game. I believe Clemson was favored, and Ohio State whipped them, and then lost to the best team in America in the title game. I wouldn't consider that bad. I think Ohio State's making it back to the national title game this year, though. That I do. I mean, so I think they're going to do at least as good this year as they did last year. Last year they made the Natty game. I think they're making the Natty game again this year. I think they're either going to play Cincinnati or the winner of the Big 12 in the first round of the playoffs, in my opinion. And I think they'll beat either one of those teams. Unless I see something to change my mind in the next couple of weeks, which I don't expect. Don't expect that at all. Joshua, I'm not even going to attempt to say that last name. I didn't name you. Joshua Brew. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says, rumor mill is SMU is targeting Rhett Lashley as head coach. Do you think Miami is effing enough to let the best OC in the ACC leave? You think Rhett Lashley's the best offensive coordinator in the ACC? Well, that point aside, why would SMU be looking for a new coach would be my question. Isn't SMU like 9-2? I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. That would be strange to me if SMU was looking for a new head coach. Oh, he is going to TCU. Okay. Well, I don't know. I have no idea because I hadn't. When did they say that? Did that news come out today, or I just somehow missed that news? Okay, so he's going to TCU. Okay. I don't know how I missed that. Today. Okay, well, that's why. I haven't heard anything about them going after Lashley, so I don't even really know what to say about that. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou.
Hey.
I have a few questions for you.
I'll answer them.
How do you feel about Dan Mullen getting fired at Florida, and do you think Georgia Tech should fire Jeff Collins and hire him?
I would love for Georgia Tech to hire Dan Mullen. Nothing would make me happier. You're talking about a guy who doesn't like recruiting, but now he has to be at Georgia Tech where the academic requirements are too high to even get most people qualified. That would be great for Georgia and everyone else in the ACC if Georgia Tech hired Dan Mullen. And no, I don't think Georgia Tech should fire Jeff Collins. But next year, look, you can't win 3 games every single year as a head coach. You have to show some improvement. It's Georgia Tech we're talking about here, so I would keep Jeff Collins for another year. But he's won 3 games every year he's been there. That no one can survive winning 3 games a year. Kansas doesn't even put up with that. But no, I don't think he'll get fired this year. Thank you for the call. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Uncle Lou? This is the undeniable GOAT.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Nothing much. I've been a fan for quite some time now. I've been waiting for your reaction video to the Kirby Smart speech against Florida, halftime speech.
Oh, I didn't make a video about it, but I think I've talked about it on some live streams. I think that kind of thing happens in hundreds of locker rooms a weekend. I don't think there's really anything unique or special about it. Maybe Kirby's a little bit more animated than others, but I mean, I think that kind of stuff goes on in almost every single middle school, high school, and college locker room in America. Now, I think you've got some coaches who don't. Maybe Mark Richt wasn't quite that way. You've probably got some other coaches who maybe don't take that approach. But I don't think there's anything really unique about what Kirby Smart did or said other than the fact that someone recorded it and released it.
No, I was just looking for the comedy out of it. You know, you're a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. You know, that was one of my biggest complaints about Mark Richt was that he wasn't emotional enough. You know, I could pick some random Mark Richt post game press conference, and from his demeanor, you wouldn't know whether Georgia won or lost, and I don't like that. Losses didn't seem to bother him. Wins didn't seem to excite him. And this isn't a not Mark Richt thing. I'm only pointing that out to say that I like that about Kirby, that he is an emotional, fiery guy. I like that.
Yeah, and another thing, do you think Kirby finally got over this old Nick Saban or kind of that's a right? You know, him sitting across from playing against Nick Saban. You know, he was just assistant over there, bit real close to Nick Saban. You know how it is for the coaches to be coming up. You know, under another coach who's very successful, And once he gets his own go at it and does pretty well, it seems he's the only guy that he can't get past.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's still got to beat him once to convince most people. This will be the first time Kirby Smart has ever played Nick Saban as a favorite. I mean, Georgia has been the underdog to Alabama every time they've played under Kirby Smart. So, yeah, Georgia has come out and whipped them in the first half every single time, just to blow it in the second half. But this will be the first time that Georgia has the better team, according to most people. Because Georgia will be the favorite. It'll be favored by about 4. I think Georgia will win the game. I don't think it'll be particularly close. I just haven't been all that impressed with Alabama this year. I think if Alabama was not Alabama, the playoff committee would be treating them like Oklahoma this year, because I just don't know what Alabama has done that's all that impressive. Beat LSU by 6 points, lose on the road to Texas A&M. I mean, the most impressive thing they've done is beat Ole Miss 42-21. Okay, great.
Right.
But is that really all you have? If that's all you have to hang your hat on, I don't. If Alabama was any other team, I don't think they'd be getting the amount of respect that they're getting this year based on what they've done just this year.
And I got one more thing. I got one more thing for you, Lou. Okay. I'm going to make a future prediction.
All right.
Zamir White will be the best running back out of his draft class at the next level. I'm predicting this ahead of time. I'm talking about 3 or 4 years from now. So we'll revisit this after Zamir get drafted, and I'm predicting he's going to be the best running back out of the class. I don't think he gets that respect, but with the depth that we have and the way that we use our running backs, we split the carries and the touches, spread it out quite a lot. But I think Zamir White is actually the best running back in college football.
All right. Like you said, we'll find out in a couple of years. Thank you for the call. I'd love for him to be right. I've loved Zeus since he was a junior in high school, and I rarely get infatuated with high school kids because their recruitments are so up and down and they commit and decommit and all that. But I have loved Zeus since he was a junior in high school, and it's been a shame, really, what's happened to him with the injuries. So it wouldn't hurt my feelings if what the caller says is true. But I'm going to be honest. I think he's the 3rd or 4th best running back on the team right now. So I would be surprised if he ended up being the best running back out of this draft. I mean, I think James Cook will have probably a better NFL career, but I'm not rooting against Zeus. I'm not disappointed. Is not even the right word. It's sad what happened to Zeus. If you weren't following he's just not what he could have been. I mean, if you've been following Zeus from his recruitment, then you know, it hasn't been the same. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou. That's it. You waited 11 minutes for that. You want? I'll give you another opportunity, but that's really all. That was disappointing, man. You waited 11 minutes and nobody understood a single word you said. That's horrible, man. Is Slim Shady in the comments section? Slim Shady, I got a student for you. Isn't it Slim that has the troll school where he teaches people how to troll? God, that was sad, bro. I mean, real sad. Feel bad for you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. This is Edward calling, and how you doing on this excellent Tuesday night?
Doing great, Edward. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I just wanted to ask you, hopefully no one asked this, what was your thoughts on the Ohio State-Michigan State game?
It was a beatdown. I mean, there's not much to say about it. The score was 56-7. I mean, not much to say. I mean, Michigan State had the worst pass defense in America coming into that game, and then they proved it.
Well, they surely did. All right. Well, cool. Thank you for having me on your show, and I'll talk to you again Monday night, 10:15. I wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Edward. Thanks for the call, buddy. It was good to hear from you, and thank you for the kind wishes. I do appreciate that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's going on, Lou?
You tell me.
Hey, I just calling to say I'm a big fan of you. This ball, dude, 91. Me and we chat a couple of times. So just gonna say, hey man, good luck to you, Georgia Bulldogs, and we'll be pulling for the East.
And what?
I said, good luck to your Georgia Bulldogs. We'll be pulling for the East.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Me too. Thank you for the call. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, I don't have too much this week, but I just want to know, did you hear about LSU losing their best cornerback, possibly their best defensive player, Elijah Ricks, to the transfer portal?
Yeah. Elias Ricks, yeah. And, he played really good this year, too. This isn't just a case of some five-star, and we don't know if he's going to be good. He played really, like you said, he might have been their best player this year. He's a good one.
Yeah. So how much do you think that Georgia might try to go after him, or do you think he since we try to fill holes in from the transfer portal, try to fill little holes in there? How much do you think he will? Of course, he'll fit in our scheme with Kendrick probably leaving, but how much do you think that he might be on the target list as far as the transfer portal?
Yeah, I do think Kirby. I do think that'll be somebody Georgia will look at. I mean, we're going to be really young again next year at corner, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Keeley has to come back. He's a second-year player, but this was his first year playing. Second year in the program, though, so he has to come back for at least one more year. And Kendrick, it's 99% chance he's going to leave. That leaves a spot open. And we saw this year how thin we are in the secondary. You get a couple of injuries, and you got people like Dan Jackson out there playing. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby looked that direction when it comes to the transfer portal in the offseason. I don't follow recruiting all that well. So I'm not sure, a lot of times you can go, oh, well, Elias Ricks signed with LSU, but it was a close call between him and Georgia, so I think he's going to come to Georgia now. Okay. I don't know that about Elias Ricks. I don't know who his second and third options were. I don't know enough about him to make a prediction on where he might go or anything like that. But, Kirby has showed over the last several seasons that I think Kirby has the transfer portal figured out, by the way. I think he does it the right way. I think you wait for the season to end. You figure out who on your team is leaving and who's coming back, and you say, okay, where are we really young, inexperienced, or weak at? Let's go get the best guy we can get in the portal to come in and help that out. We saw that this year with Darion Kendrick. And I wouldn't be surprised at all, because if you look forward to next year, I think the secondary, again, it could potentially be a weak spot for UGA. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby and Georgia look that direction. As far as what Elias Ricks wants to do, though, I have no idea. If he wants to win, he'll come to Georgia. If he wants to win and get drafted, he'll come to Georgia. That's what he'll do.
I know that's right. So yeah, I know that you don't cover recruiting too much, but me just probably talking in behalf of Dog Nation, we would love you to talk a little bit more recruiting during the recruiting, quote unquote recruiting season. We would love to have you, because you're a big part of Dog Nation. We love listening to you. I
appreciate that, and I do. I live stream for 4 or 5 hours during the day on early signing day, and again in February in the regular signing day. And I have followed recruiting more closely in the past than I follow it now. But there was a couple of, I don't know how long you've been watching the channel, but the Aubrey Solomon recruitment and commitment, and then the Demetrius Robertson recruitment and commitment sent me over the edge. And I made a couple of videos about that where I really embarrassed myself and almost gave myself a heart attack because neither one of those guys, chose Georgia, and I flipped out. And I said, you know what, these kids with they commit, they decommit, they can't make up their mind. And so I follow recruiting in terms of where teams are ranked inside each conference and nationally. But as far as like following players, I rarely keep up with recruiting to that degree. Like I did follow the recruitment of Trevor Lawrence, of Justin Fields, of Zamir White. There's been a couple other players I followed that we ended up not. Noah Cain, who's a running back at Penn State. I wanted him real bad. He was a running back at IMG. He chose Penn State. But I don't I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot better places to get information about recruiting than me. And I feel like if I talked about recruiting, it's not really an educated opinion that I'm giving. I'd rather just be honest and say I just don't follow it close enough outside of maybe picking out a couple of players a year that I really like. And I don't want to lie to people or pretend to be. I don't consider myself an analyst at all to start with, period. I'm just a fan who expresses opinions. And I don't know, the recruiting thing, I mean, you have to pay, recruiting, and you know this because you obviously pay attention to recruiting. Recruiting is a 365-day-a-year deal. And you really have to follow it day to day to really be able to talk about it in an educated way. And I don't. I follow college football every day of the year, so even though people might not agree with my opinions, I still feel like my opinions are pretty educated. I study college football. I love college football. I read college football articles and watch college football on TV and on the internet every single day of the year round. I don't do that with recruiting. So I feel like if I were to try to come on and pass myself off as some kind of a recruiting guy, it just wouldn't come off the right way.
Yeah, I understand, Uncle Lou. Well, for some good news for Georgia, to kind of, I guess get a win, off the field win on Ohio State. We did flip We flipped a cornerback, Jaheim Singletary. He's the number one on the Rivals to some sources, number one cornerback in the 2022 class, and we flipped him from Ohio State 2 days ago.
Yeah, and I did see that, and I do keep up with, like, when someone commits to UGA, it's not like I don't know. I mean, I do keep up with that. But as far as like making videos, like these are the top 5 players I think Georgia should go after in 2023. Making videos like that, I'm just not qualified to do that. I'm just not.
Yeah, I understand, and I guess this week for Georgia Tech, it's going to be another dog beatdown. So hopefully we can get healthy, stay healthy, and I guess next week we can talk about a little bit of X's and O's, maybe with Alabama. Coming up.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's going to be plenty of Georgia Alabama content on this channel over the next the next 10 days. I can assure you of that.
Yes, and we all looking forward to seeing Uncle Lou. And that's all. I don't want to take up too much time.
All right.
It was nice talking to you, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. I hope to hear from you. Again. Why don't you call in however often you want, and you give us the recruiting updates. How about that? It sounds like you are the go-to, might be more of a go-to guy for recruiting than me. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou, I just need you to know that during this SEC championship, it's going to be 45-17 Georgia. And Stetson Bennett Christ going to throw 600 yards.
You had me until the 600-yard deal. There's just no way that's happening. He can't throw for 600 yards in 2 games combined, sir. He has 0 300-yard games in his career. He's not throwing. Come on. Now, maybe Georgia wins 45-17 some type of way, but it won't be because Stetson Bennett throws for 600 yards. I mean, I can't even go down that rabbit hole.
Hey, we're just sitting here in Gulf Shores, Alabama, watching all these Alabama fans sweat about Arkansas.
That's a nice struggle win they had there. against Arkansas. How do you have to survive an onside kick against the Swine? That's what I don't understand.
Or he pulled a Kirby Smart.
I wonder if Georgia would have played Arkansas this year, what the score would have been.
I don't know. It sounds like a familiar type of game, though.
Probably something like 37-0.
I could see something in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Or it's like Arkansas pulled a Kirby Smart and went for that fake field goal.
Damn. But they converted it, though.
They did.
They converted it, though. We shit the bed.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Thank you for the call, buddy. Have fun in Gulf Shores. Don't give the Gumps too much of a hard time. They're sensitive people. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Lou?
Doing a call-in show.
I just wanted to ask. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Hello?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, how would you view Kirby if Georgia doesn't win this year? Because, like, all y'all Georgia fans think that y'all got the championship in the bag. So. Yeah. And I wanted to ask, like, how do you think Georgia, like, with the pressure, like, really would he be like another Mark Ritt or something?
No. What are you talking about?
For, like, the next couple of years?
Stop it.
Huh?
No. Stop. No. If Georgia doesn't win the national title this year, nothing is happening. Nothing. Except we go on to next year. That's it. Kirby's not on the hot seat. What do you mean?
Right,
Georgia hasn't won a national title in 41 years. What, you tell me, when was the last time a coach got fired for not winning a national title?
I don't know, man.
It's never happened.
Pretty desperate.
It's never happened in the history of college football. I don't know why anybody thinks it would happen now to Kirby Smart is beyond me. The guy's in his mid-50s, wins 95% of his games. I mean, that it just makes no sense. Alabama, true or false, Alabama's had the most talented roster 12 out of the last 13 years. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure.
Why does Nick Saban still have a job? So you're telling me that in 6 years, there's been 6 times that Alabama had the most talented team in America and didn't win the national title? That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Thank you for the call. I appreciate that. It was good to hear from you. This idea that if you're number one and don't win the national title, you should be fired is insane. It's just insane. No one has ever gotten fired for not winning a national title. Dan Mullen didn't get fired from Florida the other day because he didn't win a national title. No one's ever gotten fired for not winning a national. What do you think's going to happen? Georgia's going to win or lose. Georgia's going to the playoffs. Georgia could lose to Alabama by 20. They're still going to the playoffs. What do you think's going to happen? Georgia gets to the playoffs, loses, and they fire Kirby Smart? No. Somebody tell me a coach that has lost either a national title game or a playoff game and gotten fired the next day. If someone can tell me who that person is, I'd be willing to listen. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yes, sir. My name is Norman, and I was going to say I appreciate your show, and I was going to ask you a question. We know Cincinnati is going to get just steamrolled by either Georgia or Ohio State. Why do you think they're going to? You think that Cincinnati will go up into the top 4 tonight?
Yeah, they already did. They're 4.
They did. That was crazy. I'm telling you, Cincinnati is going to get killed.
Have you watched? We've had playoffs since 2014. All right, that's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 7 years we've had the playoffs, right? Every year there's
yes, sir.
Every year there's 2 playoff games. That's 14 playoff games we've had so far, right?
Yeah.
11 of those 14 playoff games have been blowouts. So what if Cincinnati makes the playoffs and loses by 30? What does that prove? That doesn't prove they shouldn't have been in. 11 of the 14 first-round playoff games have been blowouts. I think 5 of the 7 national title games have been blowouts. So just because Cincinnati gets in the playoffs and gets blown out, that's not proof they they shouldn't have been there. Now, you can make an argument that Cincinnati doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. I just don't think it's fair to say they shouldn't be in the playoffs because they're going to get blown out. Because every playoff game is a blowout, except for 3. So both were blowouts last year. Both are blowouts almost every year. The Georgia-Oklahoma game, and 1 or 2 others have been watchable games.
Okay.
The rest of the playoff games have been blowouts. So usually what happens in college football, at least in the playoff era, is that the best team is way better than the second best team. That's just usually the case.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think about the Alabama-Auburn game? What do you think the score will be in that game?
I think Bama will win by 3 scores. I mean, Auburn lost to South Carolina last weekend. TJ Finley in there. Bo Nix is hurt. The coach doesn't look. I didn't like the coach when they hired him. I don't know when people are going to start listening to me. I admit when I'm ignorant about something. I'm ignorant in recruiting. So when people ask me about it, what do I tell them? I can't really talk about that.
I don't know recruiting that well.
I've been telling people about Dan Mullen. They didn't want to listen. Now they all agree with me. I've been telling people about this guy at Auburn. This guy, first of all, he's not going to be at Auburn long. He might be gone next week to Washington. He's not very good. He can't recruit. Look at the recruiting rankings. It hasn't been a good year. They're going to get blown out, Auburn, in my opinion. Other than the fact that it's at Auburn, there's no legitimate reason to even think Auburn can keep it close.
Okay. Well, I want to say go Dogs to you, and you have a blessed night. Okay. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you for calling in and taking the time. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. And 2.
Hey, Uncle, it's me.
It's who?
Oh, hell, it's me, Justin. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, hell good. I got a quick question to ask you, man. What's got a big win this is Florida Auburn? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh yeah, and Uncle, what was South's big win this season? Florida Auburn.
I hear you asking something about Florida and Auburn. Other than that, I'm going to be honest. I don't have any idea what you're saying.
Hell good. What was South's big win this season? Florida Auburn.
South Carolina's biggest win, Florida or Auburn? I'll say Florida. That's a division game, and that was the biggest win over Florida in the history of that series. Florida had never lost by that much to South Carolina before. So I think both are big wins for South Carolina with a first-year head coach, Auburn and Florida, but I would say Florida was the bigger of the two. Thank you for the call. It was good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. How are you?
I'm doing good.
How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
So I got 2 questions. Good. I've got 2 questions for you.
All right.
So first is with Ohio State and Michigan. Do you think that people are hyping this up again like they did in 2019 and 2018? And do you feel like Michigan's going to kind of drop the way they did both those years, or do you think it's going to be a legitimate game?
I think this is Michigan's best team they've had under Jim Harbaugh.
Okay.
But this also might be one of the best offenses Ohio State has had since 2015.
Yeah.
So I think both things could be true. Like, I don't think people are hyping this game up for no reason. Like, I think this game deserves to be hyped up. It's one of the biggest rivalries in college football. It involves 2 teams, each with only 1 loss. It involves 2 teams that still have division aspirations, conference aspirations, and playoff aspirations, and national title aspirations. There are Heisman contenders in this game. So I don't think it's being unrealistically hyped up. And even if one team wins by 30 points, I don't think then it was, I can't believe they hyped this game up. I get why this game is being hyped up. These are 2 really good teams. Now, it could be that Ohio State is just really better again and Harbaugh can't get over the hump. That may be the case. But I understand why the game's getting hyped up like it is. This is a huge game to have in the last week of the regular season. I mean, you're talking about 2 top 6 teams, each with 1 loss. Both still have a chance to make the playoff. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than this.
That's true. That's true. My second question for you is with your honest opinion. Does the winner of the Oklahoma State game, who goes on to win the Big 12, do you feel like they'd get in over Notre Dame because they have the advantage of a Big 12 championship, or do you feel like Notre Dame would still get in over a one-loss Big 12 championship?
Yeah, I think the Big 12 team would end up getting in over Notre Dame. Thank you for the call. I think Notre Dame probably be ranked a spot ahead of them after this coming week, but then when Notre Dame is sitting at home while everyone else is playing conference championship games, I think that's when they would get past the next week. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Lou. How are you?
Doing good.
It's Gator Hater. Hey, I just wanted to call in and wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you.
I hope
you too.
And I was calling because I'm a little depressed about Mullen getting fired this week.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice.
I was really hoping that he was going to stick around so we could mollywop his ass and then get fired so we could claim Blake James down there in Miami. We got his ass out of there after we beat the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And then I was hoping that he would stick around so when we kick Florida's ass this weekend, that then they could fire him.
Well, how do you feel about this?
Norvell could claim
I guess you know this, but he was offered the opportunity to coach the last game. And he turned it down.
Well, he didn't want to get embarrassed.
He
didn't want to get embarrassed.
So I hear what you're saying.
The money
it would have been great. It would have been great as a rival for you to beat Florida and they fire him the next day. But I think you still have bragging rights here. You can still say, look, Mullen was scared to play us.
Well, hell, half their team is. They're going to quit. They already quit.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But also, I would like to wish a happy Thanksgiving to Slim Shady Canes because he is by far the classiest Miami Hurricane fan out there.
He's one of the good guys, Andy. I like him a lot too. Yeah, I've met him too. He's genuine in person like he is online. He's a really good guy. In fact, I had him on the morning show this morning for about an hour with me.
I was listening, but I've been in the I've been kind of out of pocket. I've been in the hospital.
Oh.
And so I haven't had my phone, so I only get to listen and I don't get to respond.
Yeah.
So
are you home now? I mean, you're not going to have to spend Thanksgiving
I just got home.
Right?
I just got home today.
Oh, good. Well, at least
I just got
good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I wanted to call, because I've been listening, but I haven't been able to comment and stuff. So I just wanted to let you know, happy Thanksgiving to the Typer trolls down in there.
That's right.
Who want to trash talk the Seminoles. Look, I had them going. A good year would have been 6-6 going to a bowl. That's what my prediction was.
Yeah.
I think yours was kind of along around the same lines.
Yeah.
I'm a realist. But I do want your dogs to do one thing this weekend.
What's that?
I want them to run the score up on Georgia Tech, just like Georgia Tech ran it up on Cumberland University, 222-0.
It would be funny. Yeah. It would be funny to beat Georgia Tech.
I want you to hang 100 on them.
Oh, I'd like to beat them 223-0. That's what would.
Oh, hell yeah, that would make me even. I might get a chubby if you do that. Yeah. But I mean, damn, at my age, that's
Yeah. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you too. I'm glad you're home. I'm not sure what all was going on, but I hope you got everything straightened out and okay. And I wish you good health here in the holiday season.
Yes, absolutely, brother. And you too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and like you said, even the Typer trolls deserve a piece of turkey and some cornbread on Thanksgiving. You hit the nail on the head there. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. How you doing, brother?
Doing great.
So I got a couple questions for you. First off, I actually come across to you on Coach
Coach Coop's YouTube channel when we were reacting to one of your videos about Miami. The first question I have is actually about Miami.
Okay.
So who do you think should be the coach at Miami? Bill O'Brien or Gus Malzahn? I know which way I lean towards that, but I was just curious as to what you think.
Out of those two,
Yeah.
out of those two, I would probably go with Gus Malzahn. I don't think
Which is what I thought.
I don't think either one of those is necessarily a home run hire or anything. I think Miami's got some issues that go beyond the head coach. I think there's some cultural issues down there. I think there's some facility issues down there. I think there's an Ed Reed issue. And what I mean by that is this whole clinging to the past thing that the fans do has somehow infected the program. Having Ed Reed hang around is not doing anything for that program. Not having a stadium on campus is not doing anything for that. There's some bigger issues there than just who the head coach is. I mean, Miami's had something like 6 head coaches since they've been in the ACC. None of them have been able to win the ACC. It's unlikely that all 6 of those coaches are just bad coaches. I know for a fact that Mark Richt's not a bad coach. Now, he had some health issues, and so maybe that got cut a little short. We'll never really know maybe what he could have done there. But out of those two, though, I would go with Malzahn over O'Brien. I mean, Bill O'Brien, he doesn't have any college head coaching experience, I don't think. I know he was a head coach in the NFL, and I don't know how he is in recruiting either. Gus Malzahn recruited pretty well at Auburn, considering Auburn is the second fiddle in that state. It's hard to recruit as the second team in a state, and he did okay recruiting-wise.
Right. And, and I, like you were saying about Miami's culture thing, so I'm an A&M fan, so I respect Georgia. I'm not going to sit in here and talk a bunch of mess, but I kind of feel the same way about Manziel. You know what I mean? We're still trying to get out of that stigma that he had. Great player, but he was cocky as hell. But speaking of A&M, I did have a question for you about that. As you may or may not know, our quarterback got hurt early in the year. So the question that I have for you is, would you, if you were coaching, obviously, would you either go back to his team or would you let Calzada start next season? What do you do there?
Well, I'm not a big fan of Jimbo Fisher personally, but I do think he's a good college football coach, and he's particularly good with QBs. So I wouldn't question Jimbo's decision whichever way he went. Now with Kirby Smart, that's not, and I'm a Georgia fan and I love Kirby, but he doesn't have a proven track record of managing QBs successfully. In fact, he's got the opposite. He's failed multiple times. So I don't know enough about King versus Calzada. I know that they both practiced there all off season, and Jimbo said King was better. And that's why King started. I'm assuming since Calzada has played okay this year, that King isn't going to automatically be handed back the starting job. I'm assuming it'll be an open competition again in the spring and the fall. And I think Jimbo has earned the right for Texas A&M fans to trust whatever decision he makes. I don't trust the decision that Kirby makes because I've seen him make the wrong decision too many times. Jimbo's a good quarterback guy, so I would go with whatever. If I was an A&M fan, I would have to put my faith in whatever Jimbo said was the best way to go.
Right, and I wouldn't, we have a 5-star quarterback coming in with this next recruiting class. Yeah. I wouldn't go to him right away because he's got to learn the playbook. So everybody's high on him. Like, no, I wouldn't do that yet because of how Jimbo runs his offense. But, just want to also tell you happy Thanksgiving and God bless, and thank you for taking the time to talk.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. And Texas A&M is going to have a great recruiting class. I don't follow recruiting on a player-by-player basis like I mentioned, but I follow the overall. Texas A&M is going to have a top 5 class for sure. Could finish as high as number 1, depending on what happens in the next couple of weeks. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's going on, Uncle Lou? Good morning.
Good morning.
Question for you. I know how you feel about Stetson Bennett, which is specifically why I'm asking this, but who would you say our top, I'll go with top 3 quarterbacks of all time, in your opinion, that you've watched. And then say Stetson gets the job done for us, beat Alabama in Atlanta December 4th. We win a national championship. Where would you put him at on that list?
Aaron Murray is on the top of my list. Talking about my lifetime, Aaron Murray 1, probably Stafford 2. Close after that between David Green, DJ Shockler, and Quincy Carter. I'd have to really think about how to order those 3. I think Murray is number 1 for sure to me. Stafford a clear number 2 to me. And I would have to think about where those other 3 fall. If we win a national title with Stetson Bennett this year, he's not passing Aaron Murray. He's not passing Matt Stafford. He's probably not passing those other 3 either. I mean, I don't think – do you think Buck Bellew is the greatest UGA quarterback of all time?
I couldn't tell you. I've never seen him.
Well, he's not.
That's my lifetime.
Yeah, he's not. I can tell you he's not. He completed 1 pass in the national title game. The point is, just because – well, let me ask you this. Is Jamari Sawyer the best offensive lineman we've ever had if Georgia wins a national title this year?
Not at all.
No, exactly. Winning a national title doesn't make you the best player at your position. You have to look at why you won that national title. Herschel Walker's the best running back for good reason. Stetson Bennett, you're not in today's college football, there's no such thing as a quarterback who throws for 170 yards that's the greatest quarterback your program has ever had. I don't care if we go 15-0 or not. Stetson Bennett's not getting on the top of the Georgia quarterback list.
I agree. I don't think Aaron Murray is surpassable at my number 1 for anybody we've had in recent time. And I'd have Stafford at number 2 also. I kind of just wanted to pick at you because I know how you feel about Bennett. So
yeah,
I think
Bennett is good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you calling in. Stetson Bennett good. JT Daniels better. That's just my opinion. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. Caleb again, man. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing great, buddy.
Hey, man. So I know this morning me, you, and Slim were talking about coaching contract extension. So I bet you heard about James Franklin today, huh?
No, I didn't. What happened?
You didn't hear?
No, you want to tell me or you want me to guess?
Yeah. No, I'll tell you. James Franklin just got a 10-year contract extension worth like, a 10-year extension, but, that's just my opinion. But anyway, man, I didn't tell you this morning, but I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yeah, you too, Caleb. Thank you for calling in, buddy. It was good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning, man. But you're talking to Peach the Kid here. I called in to talk about that Florida search.
Yes.
And do you think that this was the right time? Obviously, yeah, we got to get them out the door. I understand that your philosophy with prior coaching searches, especially with University of Southern Cal, was get them out. The faster you get them out, the faster you get the search going, the more time you have until next season to get the right guy in. But with that being said, with the University of Southern Cal being open, with LSU being open, with TCU being open, with Virginia Tech being open, do you think, and I understand Florida is better than almost all of those besides LSU and arguably University of Southern Cal, do you think it would have behooved them if they would have waited until next year when, supply and demand was a little bit more in their favor? Or do you think they did the right thing?
That's the decision the athletic director has to weigh, right? Because the problem at Florida right now is recruiting. So every day that you wait is setting you back how many months? We don't know, right? Recruiting is the lifeblood of a football program, period. I don't care if you, and I've said this before, Nick Saban as head coach, Kirby Smart as defensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin as offensive coordinator. With Vandy's roster, would not make a bowl game.
Fair. That's fair. Now, do you think that
not only was Dan Mullen not recruiting at a good enough level while things were going well the last couple of years. Now, you look at the last 2 or 3 months, they've got none of the top 10 players from the state of Florida committed to them. They had a couple of top 100 players in the nation committed. They've all uncommitted. One of them flipped to Georgia already. Another one's probably going to flip to Georgia. You cannot survive that way. So it probably wasn't a great time to fire Dan Mullen and be looking for a new coach. But every day that went by was costing Florida months on the back end, because I don't care how good of a coach they bring in, if the roster's not there, they're not getting over the Georgia and Alabama hump. And so you got to get somebody new in there and cross your fingers that they can recruit.
Yeah, I have another question about Lane Kiffin going to Florida. I heard rumors of that being the case. Do you believe?
No.
I don't know. Some people said that.
I don't believe that.
No.
No.
You don't think so?
No. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Bill Napier or whatever his name is from Louisiana. So, but I don't.
Is there any way now? Would that worry you if Bill got there? I mean, obviously we're recruiting at such a high level.
Yeah, nothing worries.
Kirby Smart seems to have us on the right.
No coach.
Yeah,
no coach
so,
that worries me right now. Honestly, there's not a coach available that they could get that worries me right now. Georgia's not going anywhere anytime soon. Hey, thank you for the call. I'm going to have to let you go because we're out of time. I'm going to have to turn the phone lines off. We're out of time here for today's for the call-in portion of today's show. For those of you that want to hang around for a few minutes, I'm going to play a song. Then I will come back and I will talk to y'all guys in the comment sections for a few minutes.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I get a little bit restless and I dream of something wise. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit helpless and I'm lying like a child in your arms. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit angry and I know I've got to get out and cry. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, but then I see the look in your eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever. And we'll only be making it right. 'Cause we'll never be wrong. Together we can take it to the end of the line. The love is like a shadow on the other side. I don't know what to do and I'm always in the dark. We're living in a powder keg and giving off balls. I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Upon a time I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. There's nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
Hey, are all the trolls still here? Gather around, trolls. I have a big announcement. I have a big announcement for the trolls. Gather around. Calling all trolls and haters. I have a clip here of Beggin' Megan. Here's Beggin' Megan.
Lou makes me so damn mad.
Yeah, I know. You're irate, but you'll get over it. Just like you did last time. I have a big announcement. Need all the trolls to gather around. I give you a minute or two. I give you another minute. I need all the trolls back to the comment section immediately.
Falling apart. Nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart.
Are the trolls here yet?
Once upon a time there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark.
Big announcement coming.
Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart. Total eclipse of the heart.
I see you, Cody. I got you coming right up. All right. First of all, shout out to JR for the super chat. My daughter, the Georgia fan, just reminded me my team is #1. She's correct. She is correct. Thank you for the super chat, Jay. Davis Painter, thank you for the super chat. Don't let UGA play Notre Dame in the first round. We'll be able to get our backups in. Yeah, if Notre Dame did get in, they'd lose by 25. That's what they do in every major postseason bowl. Don't see anything changing that anytime soon. Colby, thank you for the PayPal. Hey, Uncle Lou, I was going to ask you a question, but the cops just showed up. Have a good mustard. All the people that don't tune into the morning show don't have any idea what you're talking about, and that's their loss, honestly. All right, trolls, gather around. I've got a huge announcement to make. I know one of y'all's favorite things to do is to get irritated about your favorite YouTuber, Uncle Lou. Look for reasons to get mad. Haters are going to hate. That's what they do by nature. They can't help it. That's why I'm here, to provide what it is that you're searching for. How mad are you going to be, type of troll haters, when you see Uncle Lou on an ESPN commercial during the month of December and January?
And I've set up and tore down this stage with my own two hands. We've traveled this land, packed tight minivans. And all this for the fans, girls, money, and fame. I played their game and had to scream my name. I will show no shame. I live and die for this. And if I come off soft, then you on this.
Are you scared?
Devil without a cause. And I'm back with the beaver hats and Ben Davis slacks. 30-pack of stroll, 30-pack of hoe. No Rogaine in the propane flows. The chosen one, I'm the living proof. With the gift of gab from the city of truth. I jabbed and stabbed and knocked critics back. And I did not stutter when I said that. I'm going platinum, selling rhymes. I went platinum 7 times. And still they're ill and want to see us ride. I guess because only God knows why. Why?
The only person who's going to like it more than me is Tennessee fans.
American badass, watch me kick. You can roll with rock or you can suck my dick. I'm a porno flick, I'm like Amazing Grace. I'm gonna fuck some hoes after I rock this place. Super fly, living double wide, sidecar my glide so Josie can ride. Full sack to share, bringing flash and flare. Got the long hair, swinging middle finger in the air. Snakeskin suit, 65 Chevelle. See me riding sin, hear the rebel yell. I won't live to tell. So if you do, give the next generation a big fuck you. Who knew I'd blow a black post war armor?
That's fake news, Brett Battle. Not moving on from YouTube. No. Don't have time to do no shows on ESPN. Just a commercial.
Shit.
Ferrero season to the art of chocolate.
Any of y'all watch Dancing with the Stars? A Georgia Tech nerd just won Dancing with the Stars. Is anyone surprised? Hey, happy Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving to everybody. There's no live shows tomorrow because it's Wednesday. I will have some videos out tomorrow, but I love you guys. I hope you enjoy the holiday season and Thanksgiving, and hope you get to spend a lot of time with your friends and family and loved ones and all that good stuff. Eat some good food, Black Friday shopping, whatever it is you do. Hope you have a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving weekend. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here every day, including Thursday. With the videos and the live shows, except for tomorrow. No, never any live shows on Wednesdays. But I love all you guys. You guys mean the world to me. If I made my thankful list, all of you in the comment section are very close to the top. I mean, outside of my immediate family, you guys in the comment section mean more to me probably than anybody or anything else. I love you all, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving.